Everybody out there, Chiefs Kingdom YouTube. It is your boy Big Chief Sean, man. And tonight, uh, we're gonna be chatting with that boy, Chris Clark from Locked On Chiefs. Hopefully, you'll be here tonight. Right now, he's not here, so until he gets here, I'm here to entertain you as always. So remember, before we start this video, come on, man, give your boy a chance. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? You got to do that. We're almost to that road to 1,000. Right now, we're at 710 subscribers. Come on, y'all. Let's get those numbers up. Oh, man, it's good to see everybody out here. And again, I know it's been a while since I've been on the chat, man. But I'm still trying to make sure that I keep this Saturday night streaming and stuff going on because I really enjoy that. It gives me edge, and I know it gives y'all a little bit edge, a little calm for the storm type stuff, whoever's out there. You know what I mean? This tomorrow's gonna be one hell of a game, man. I'm nervous as hell, y'all. I mean, I don't know how y'all feeling out there, but I mean, I know that it's gonna be a crazy one. I mean, we got to take on Tampa Bay and all them, and I'm not too confident in it, but I know we'll come out right. I mean, Brady is losing his gear, and especially what happened with the Colts game. You know, everybody just still kind of on edge about that. You know what I mean? It's just so weird, and I really feel bad. I didn't really get a chance to do a video about that because I was so busy with everything else and trying to work and everything and personal stuff at home. It was just really hard to, you know what I mean, get that out in the video. And I do apologize for that, y'all. I'm really trying, you know what I mean, with everything going on in my home, you know, with the work and, you know, doing this and you know, everything else between, man. I love doing this. This is my passion. So, you know, this is you know, it's my apologies that I haven't been doing it on a consistent basis, but everything is going to get back on board. I promise y'all. But tonight we're going to talk about how we're going to beat the hell out of Tampa Bay because I mean, we just need it coming. Shaq Barrett running his mouth, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm just worried about right now. I mean, obviously, we just need to see the offense be the offense as it was. I mean, especially when you watching Miami and with Tyreek and everybody saying that I don't still think he needs him. I'm still going to stick with that. I just think we just had a bad game. I mean, every player has a bad game. I mean, look at Tua. I mean, every player has a bad game, dude. I mean, every good player, every great player deserves to have a bad game now and then, right? I mean, y'all agree. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I mean, what it do, Gooch? Gooch in the house, man. I appreciate y'all. The Back Talk boys. Ooh. Oh. Hey.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
How goes it?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the one, the only Chris Clark from Locked On Chiefs. Thank you so much, man, for joining me tonight, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. Just trying to take my daughter to homecoming, and ran a little bit longer.
Man. See here on my chat. See on this channel Saturday. I mean, obviously we talk about the football, the content, and everything like that, but this is more of a personal space. You know what I mean? Like you can actually be yourself, calm down, say what you want to say here. It's an open space for everybody. Everybody who's on the chat loves, especially you, man. We all listen to you. Like that's why I'm just saying. Like, thank you so much for even having the time to talk to me. You know what I mean? Because I know you get busy because this season, especially after this last game, I know you've been balls to the wall busy. So
man, this last game really, I still can't believe they put up the game that they put up. But trying to move past that, and you know, we got to hope for the best, man. That's all we can do.
I know that's what I'm saying, man. Like would you agree with me to say that's probably, I won't say the worst performance Mahomes has ever done, but it's got to be at least top 5. Are you agreeing with me on that?
I mean, you have to remember, to be fair, he had a couple of guys that let him down.
That is true. Facts.
Watson dropped an easy first down ball. Travis Kelce dropped a touchdown pass. You know, I'm not trying to point fingers, but Mahomes didn't play great. There was definitely things he did wrong and definitely issues that he had in that game. But he had some plays that he made that really should have been big plays for this team and ended up not connecting. And let's not forget, and this is kind of what I started out with early in this week. Let's not forget this game probably should have started a lot different, because don't forget they had the opportunity to basically have a deep ball to Marquez Valdez-Scantling at the very beginning of the game, and Mahomes overthrew him. Those two have to get on the same page. If they don't get on the same page in the next couple of games, that's going to cause issues in the postseason.
Yeah. I don't know what, like, how it was seeming like they were playing so conservative. Like, I won't say like Smith ball, like Alex Smith ball or anything like that. But did you notice a little bit more conservative to the ball, like trying to hit down? And then when he tried to do big, he was like he was missing so many shots. What was what did you notice that I know about the miscommunication of the whole thing? Do you think it was just like a one-time thing, or was it just like something they actually did need to work on, but they thought they were fine to this point?
I mean, Ryan and I talked about this on Locked On Chiefs earlier this week, and I think we even talked about it the first thing after the game. I don't know that they were really ready for that game plan. I think that they had a game plan going in, and I don't think it was really relevant to what the Colts actually ended up doing to them. So I don't think that they were ready for that. And then I think also, in a way, I think they also overlooked the Colts. I think they looked at them as being 0-2. Kansas City's 2-0. This should be a cakewalk. We should be able to go in there and get the W. And I want to be clear on this, because this is something that really does make a big difference on this team that I couldn't say in years past. They did a good job on Jonathan Taylor. They held him in check for the most part. Yes, did he have some runs? Yes. But 70 yards for, again, and I've said this before, easily a top 3 back in the NFL, and I think you could make an argument he's number 1.
Yeah. I mean, some people would like to say Saquon's back, but nah, right now it's Taylor's. It's Taylor's.
If Saquon could stay healthy for a season, maybe. Same with Christian McCaffrey, though. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
McCaffrey is a different back, and I think McCaffrey is better, but availability matters, and Jonathan Taylor over the past 2 years has been fantastic. We'll see if he plays this week. I don't know. I haven't seen whether or not he's actually playing this week or not. I know he missed a couple of things at practice with turf toe, I believe, and that's going to be rough on a running back, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, defensively wise, I mean, I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, overall, I mean, we stopped them at a goal line. We, got some good hits. We definitely got at the quarterback this time. I mean, do you expect that kind of defensive progress for the next game, or did you just see like an emergence of the defense, like them actually? That's what I'm really trying to ask. Like, is the defense getting it together more earlier than they usually do? Because we see like from last year and years before, our defense takes a couple weeks to get to that peak, and then they end up being top 10 by end of the season. Do you see them like peaking right now? Because these last few games, they've actually been playing somewhat solid. I mean,
I think that this is going to be a good test of what this defense can actually do, and I'm fascinated to see how it actually goes, because when you look at Tampa Bay, their strength used to be their offensive line. Right now, their offensive line has been decimated. They have 3 new guys in there in the interior of their offensive line, and yeah, Shaq Mason's a good player, but I don't think he's what he used to be in New England. And then you look at the rest of the offensive line. There's a question whether or not Donovan Smith is going to play in this game. They brought up Cole Beasley from their practice squad. They activated him for this game. That was announced on Saturday, which means that some of their wide receivers aren't going to be available. I'm not sure who that's going to be yet, but Chris Godwin hasn't really played. Yeah, Mike Evans will be back from a suspension, and I'm sure he'll be pissed off, but one guy is not going to be enough to beat this defense and beat this Chiefs organization. And I really do feel like when you watch that game, I don't think the Chiefs came out and looked like they had that killer edge in that game against the Colts. I think that they got a little overconfident based on their win against the Chargers. And I think that played into that game. And then in this situation, you got 2 teams that look like they should be 3-0 at this point, because Tampa Bay should have probably beat Green Bay. I don't even want to talk about that whole situation up in Green Bay. But you sit there and you watch how this game is going to play out. Tampa Bay's defense is going to try to get after Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah,
What
Shaq
can
Barrett
Patrick
already put
Mahomes?
his.
Yeah, Barrett's already come out and said he's going to try to do what he wants to do. What are they going to be able to do to stop Barrett? What are they going to be able to do to move the ball around? They have to get Sky Moore involved in the offense. They absolutely have to get him involved in the offense. Not having him involved in the offense last week, I'm not going to say it cost him the game, but I think was a very poor usage. I understand he had struggles early with punt coverage or punt returns, but you got to have him out there. And then, McCole Hardman's got an injured heel. MVS may not play this game because of an abdominal strain. So Juju's going to be out there. Travis Kelce's going to be out there. They still haven't really used Jody Fortson this year, and I still think that Fortson is a better player than a lot of people are giving him credit for.
That's a good point, man, because that defense is still. I mean, it's not the same defense as their Super Bowl winning defense, but as of lately, our offensive line hasn't been up to par, especially with Orlando Brown getting blown up every other weekend. So
yeah, he did not have a good game.
About that is like Orlando Brown is taking a lot of flack. I mean, regardless of what we hope for the best with. Orlando Brown's been capturing a lot of shit for his play lately. Is this him? Is this the real him, or is this him? Well, y'all haven't paid me, so I'm not going to play right. What do you got in your head about this?
I think he played well against the Chargers. I mean, he went against Bosa, he went against Mack. I think he comported himself very well against the Chargers. He did not have a good game against the Colts. I'm not sure what it was against the Colts, but there were times where he ended up on the ground way too early in the snap, and it killed plays. And I think that also probably had a little bit to do with what Mahomes did in that game, because he was moving around and running around the pocket a lot more than he had been the first couple of weeks. So I'm not sure. I don't think that this is Orlando Brown saying you haven't paid me, so you're not going to get the best of me. I think if that is his message to this team, then he needs to be gone after the season. And I say that because that is not how you make money in this league, by holding your services or playing and giving not your all. If you're not going to give your all, you don't deserve to be on the field. And you don't deserve a big contract. And I'm not saying that I think that's what he was doing. I just that's a huge deal if that's really what's going on.
Yeah, because I mean, he was. Let's just say he was terrible, man. He was not on his top of his game on this game. Do you see him fixing that? Because I mean, like he said, Shaq Barrett, we both know he's coming, and more like it isn't more likely those two going to clash than anybody else.
I would think that those two are going to be the ones that are going to be going at it, and I think that Barrett has a lot to prove with all that he's been talking this week. But the reality is that Orlando Brown knows what he needs to do to get paid. If he wants to get paid, he's got to protect Mahomes, and he's got to give Mahomes plenty of time in the pocket. And I'm talking 3 to 4 seconds, if not 5. And if he stays on his feet, and that's honestly, when I look at this game and when I think about this game, my biggest question right now isn't necessarily what team is going to show up for either organization. It's going to be, what are the field conditions like in Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
How is the field going to be? Because think about all the rain they got. Think about everything that's been happening. Are they going to have a field that's just absolutely crap because it's just been soaked for so long?
So they are having that game in Tampa Bay. I heard they were moving it to LA or something like that. So
there was talk that they could move it. There was talk that they could move it to Minnesota, but unless they changed it today, I have not seen anything that makes me think it's been changed. But the last I saw was they were having it in Tampa Bay, and that was announced, I think, on Thursday or Friday.
Dude, that's insane as hell. Are they really going to try to play there? That awful field? Like right now, it's like, isn't it hurricane and stuff? I don't like.
Well, they just had a hurricane, so I don't know. I mean, that's my question. Is okay. So the hurricane hit. How's the field? Are you going to have a field that's in good condition for football? Because if you're not, that's going to cause problems on both sides, and that could cause a lot of injuries that we're going to hate seeing.
Oh man, that isn't. Well, I mean, you don't know. We don't know the weather. You don't know the weather report for that game, do you at all?
No, I don't know off the top of my head. I do know that it was supposed to be. I think it's going to be clear, but I'm not 100% on that. I mean, I guess we could look at it, But the reality is what happened to the field over the past 96 hours? I mean, that's really the question.
And
Because
will they be able to handle? Because is it turf or is it artificial? Do y'all know? Anybody in chat? Do y'all know? Is it turf or is it artificial? Gooch, is it turf or is it artificial? I'm trying to, because that's crazy. Because you're right though, that hurricane hit and that feels going to be absolute ass trash, man. And it's just that could be monumental to this game. I mean, hell, injuries could happen in bad grass. You know what I mean? Like. That's crazy. I didn't know. I really thought they were going to relocate, but they might not. I mean, you're right. It's one day before the game. They're definitely not going to do it last minute. That would be fucking stupid. Like, so okay, conditions to bear. Do you think Reed has a plan? Like, he has a plan for everything. He has to have rain plan, right? Like, he had snow plan. We've seen him have a couple of those. I mean, does he have an idea? You think we should run? Should this be the game we just run it? I mean, because Hilaire can run in the rain, right?
I would think that you could run. It looks like Raymond James Stadium is grass. That's fantastic.
Wow. So it is going to be trash ass grass. Okay.
I mean, it could. I mean, so here's the thing. It's okay. So it looks like it's sod that is installed prior to games. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it could be a very interesting surface. How do you cover something and keep it from getting just poured on? Like, I know that they can have tarps. I know they can do that stuff, and I know they have drains, but I would think that with as much rain as they got, there's still going to be a lot of water but maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see what the field conditions are like. I'm just curious, like, when you get into that game, does it play a factor? Do you get out on that field and realize, because you have to remember, Kansas City is going to go into this game. Andy Reid goes into every single game with like 15 plays that he has scripted for that game. If he has a lot of plays scripted that are going to create that's going to be a lot of motion and a lot of moving people around, and then you get in there and you find out that field is crap.
Yeah.
How do you continue to go about that? I mean, you're going to be, if you're slipping and sliding, that is not going to be a good scenario. I'm hoping the field is good. We'll have to see what ends up happening. I really don't know.
Like, that's wow. I mean, it is what it is, man. This is football. We've seen, but you're right though. I mean, that the way they got hit, there's no way that field is fixed in a day or two. Like you said, whatever. I guess we press on. So I'm just gonna ask it outright. I mean, do we get it together this game? We have a right. We're going to fix those issues from last game, right? We ain't going to come in with the same arrogant attitude. We can't. It's Tampa Bay, right? I mean, because you made a very
there's no way you can go in with an arrogant attitude in this game, and it's already been announced that Harrison Butker is out for tomorrow night, so know that that's going to be a thing. He will not play tomorrow night, which, I mean, that doesn't shock me. I wasn't expecting him to after he missed practice a couple of days this week. So maybe he's back next week against the Raiders, or maybe they wait and they save him to the Buffalo game in a couple of weeks. I mean, that's going to be a huge game for Kansas City. It looks like right now, based on what I'm seeing on the weather report, they're expecting it to be about 76 around kickoff time with 0% precipitation. So,
all right. That's not too bad.
Maybe. I mean, it looks like the high tomorrow is 84, so maybe that's going to help a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really interested to see how this whole thing shakes out, because Kansas City has to get their offense going, and this is going to be a big test. Tampa Bay has slowed their offenses down. But then you go back and you also look at who they played and when they played them, and that makes me question a little bit. I mean, you look at Green Bay. Is Green Bay really going to be a good team this year? Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, but he doesn't have receiving threats. So what are they going to do there?
He is not enough. Like,
he's not.
No matter how bad, because I respect Aaron Rodgers to hire for, because he's a great player, but he can't do all that. Not with the problems they have. That's too much of a hill to overcome in one season. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if he pulls out a rabbit out of his butt and does some magic, I will be the first to applaud him. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. Like,
well, and so who they played? They played the Dallas Cowboys and they played the New Orleans Saints. They won both
right.
those games. Dallas, I'm sorry, Dallas has been a team that I think is better, is like by name is better than what they actually have been on the field.
Yeah.
I really have not ever been impressed with Mike McCarthy outside of Green Bay. And really, it looks like his time in Green Bay was more of a thing of he was lucky because he had Aaron Rodgers as his QB, but it doesn't look like he's able to take that into Dallas and make anything work there. And then you have the Saints, who have a brand new head coach, at least for their organization, and no more Drew Brees, and they have Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback. I mean, okay, if you want to count that as a great game, great. But, yeah, you've held some offenses to very few points, and maybe your defense is playing great. But if your offense isn't going to score points in this game, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, it is. This is going to be – because, I mean, Bruce Arians, I don't even think he's one of the brightest coaches out there, in my opinion. I mean, he has some skill. I'm not going to shortchange him at all, but I don't think he has the mental fortitude to beat Reed in a battle of wits. I think it was just more of a fortunate circumstance of how he even beat us in the Super Bowl in the first place.
But Arians isn't there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, you have Todd Bowles. Bowles is a great coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, and the defense is playing well for him. Great. The problem Tom Brady has is if his offensive line does not give him time because Chris Jones is crashing the pocket or whoever is crashing the pocket, they are not going to be able to score points because Chris Jones is going to get in Tom Brady's face. And I don't mean that like talking crap or anything. I just mean that he's going to be in his face all the time. Because you know Chris Jones is pissed off after what happened last week.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on that, because how stupid is it that we can't even figure out what Chris Jones said to Matt Ryan? You can't make that call in that situation and not be transparent as to why.
Yeah, look, I was upset like anybody else was because it did look like we had the game in hand, but what could he have possibly said to really warranted a flag like that? I think that was really, really cheap. I agree with you, Olden, man. It is, they'll throw flags, but it's still, it didn't make any sense. I don't think it was warranted. He went on, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think
he didn't shove him. He wasn't physical. I mean, if we're talking trash, that's part of the game. That's part of being an adult. And I'm not trying to say that that's the best part of the game, but it's part of the game.
You have the right to say whatever you want to say, especially this is competition. I'm not your friend right now. When the game's over, we can swap jerseys. But right now, I'm here for the win. Like, so it just really irked the hell out of me because we've all seen the Brady clips over and over and over and over again, and him saying something to people and pissing people off and not getting any trouble for us. I thought it was pretty cheap way to end the game, really.
Well,
and then they had the nerve to put the camera on Chris Jones the entire time at the end of the game. Like I thought that was pretty embarrassing.
Well, and really, my bigger problem with it is it sounds like Kansas City's come out and saying that the NFL's not even telling them what was said. I mean, the only person that sounds like they even know what was said was Chris Jones and Matt Ryan, maybe. And I'm sure the ref knows what was said, but really, you're not going to go and you're not going to tell the team because, I mean, you know, I would think that would be necessary information. Now, am I saying that Chris Jones shouldn't have gotten that penalty? Yes, I am probably saying that. Do I think that it's possible that things will change in the future? No, I think that they're going to do whatever they want to do. And to me, that was just a crap call at a crap time.
Yeah.
It changed the game. It literally changed the game.
It did. Because it was already fourth down.
It wasn't a dirty shot. It wasn't him taking an unnecessary shot on the QB. He didn't push him. He didn't throw a punch. He didn't do any of that. And the refs got involved and changed the outcome of that game.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I totally agree. And I know, you know, this game, Chris Jones is going to play with, I don't want to say play with reserve because that would be dumb to say, but I know he's going to be a little bit more mindful of what he says now and how he acts. Because, I mean, especially these days, not to upset or piss off anybody in the chat or whatever, but I'm just, you know, this league is really being very sensitive about the insensitivity. You know what I mean? Like, people can't say this, people can't do that. You can't even do peace signs anymore without getting fined. So, we kind of should have expected it, but it doesn't make it any less stupid. It's still dumb that they did that. But I'm thinking that Chris Jones is going to more likely overcome it, but who knows? Because Shaq Barrett has a mouth, and he might have, you know what I mean? Like, I know they'll never meet up, but still, like stuff like that happens. I don't know. I thought it was
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's going to be a lot of people, and that's the thing that just drives me nuts about a penalty like that is like, and I also want to be clear, and I want to say this. Should Kansas City have lost even after that penalty? No, they should have been able to stop the Colts. They should have been able to take care of their own business. I get that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been able to stop them. But what I am saying is you can't have refs changing the outcome of a game, and they change the outcome of a game based on something that was said, not something that was done.
Yeah. I totally agree because it's so stupid. Like, they felt like it was, and it wasn't like they were in a heated debate. It wasn't like with Tyrann Mathieu and Tom Brady at the Super Bowl, where they just kept doing it and doing it. So the ref just felt compelled, like, y'all just added like dogs. That's enough. Him and Chris Jones probably interacted with each other like that once the whole game. So,
right.
I just, it's just so stupid.
No, it is stupid. And I think that Jones will learn from that and they'll get better. The issue that I have with it really is I looked at this schedule after that Chargers game, and I looked at it, and I looked at the next couple of games for Kansas City, and I said, okay, Kansas City could start 5-0 before they play the Bills. How huge would that have been for them to be 5-0 going to that Bills game? And I know the Bills already lost, and I didn't know that when I was looking at it. But how huge would it have been for Kansas City to go into that game 5-0 against the Bills team that was either 5-0 or 4-1 or whatever their record ended up being, to where you're in a situation where you still control your own destiny for the most part, and that game isn't going to kill you. Now you're in a situation where if they're both 4-1, that game really puts you at a disadvantage.
Because didn't the Bills lost to both AFC teams as well? Hold up, everybody. Oh, there he goes. He's back, y'all. Don't worry. He was messing with y'all. Y'all was like, where did Curtis go? He's right there. He's right there.
No, I'm right here.
He's right
here.
Sorry, but I mean, I feel like I'm just worried, man. Honestly,
I get it.
This game,
it takes on a new importance.
Yeah, because
and
now,
honestly,
like you're right. Coming into the Bills 71 or 71, 4, you know what I'm saying? Coming in there, a 4-1 game still is going to be a very intense game. I'm just upset we lost to the Colts because now that might bite us in the ass down, in the play, because they count those numbers, especially when you lose to your own division of the AFC, of course. And the Bills lost to Miami, right?
Right.
Or who did they lose to?
Yeah, they lost to the Dolphins.
Okay, so
divisionally they're in a worse situation than Kansas City is. Although there's lots of things that we could talk about if we want to talk about Miami and the whole Tua situation. So
yeah, how's that working? For you?
Yeah, well,
how's that working for you?
I was actually talking to some friends today. With him having a mini bye. I'm going to be shocked. I guess I will say this. I'm going to be shocked if he's playing the next game, but I won't be flabbergasted. And what I mean by that is like it'll really surprise me, but I'm not going to be blown away by it. They said it wasn't a concussion the first time. It sure as heck looked like a concussion the Sunday before. He comes back and he gets another concussion. There's no way he should play in this next game, but I don't know that that's going to end up being the case.
I mean, it was very ugly. That was very, very ugly tackle.
And you see his fingers and the way he looked on the field. It just that screams huge brain injury. And my bigger fear for him is that you're in a situation where he didn't have horrible symptoms then.
No,
but those types of symptoms can come back days later.
I mean, God, Lee, I could never. No. I give props to Tua, man. He's pretty tough. He took it like a man. He didn't wince too much.
And they have a fantastic offense. I think that Miami is going to really give the Bills a challenge in the division this year, which I never expected. But I think that they could give them a run for their money. And if Tua can play and he can play as well as he was playing the first 3 weeks, then I think that they could be in good shape. But if he misses a lot of time with this injury, with the concussion, and I'm not saying rushing back. That's not at all what I'm saying. I want to be clear on that. But if he misses a lot of time, it really could derail their hopes because their backup is Teddy Bridgewater. And you saw how that ended up for him on Thursday Night Football against a team in the Bengals who really isn't that good and has a quarterback in Joe Burrow who I think also has a little bit of an issue with his ego because I think he expected to be a little bit more of a I don't know what the right word, an idol in the NFL this season compared with what he did last year.
Yeah, something like that. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. We love seeing you too. But I think Miami. So you think that Miami could take the division then? Like, because they already won up. I mean,
if Tua, it depends on how long Tua is out.
That's true. I mean, I don't even think Tua is that great of a quarterback, but I believe as long as you have above average, you can succeed in the NFL.
I think he's above average enough to where he's good enough for that offense with those weapons.
Yeah,
if Waddle or Hill or Gesicki or any of those guys go out, that's going to hurt their offense. But Tua is good enough to get them by. He still doesn't have the strongest arm. He watched him underthrow Hill multiple times in the Baltimore game, and it still ended up not mattering because Hill had busted coverage so many times. But the bigger problem they're going to run into is if he is missing for a game or two, I don't know that Bridgewater is – I think Bridgewater is probably average at best, and it sure doesn't look like he can step in and play in that offense very well.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving Bridgewater average. That's how nice. See, Chad, that's how nice of a person Chris is.
I said it best.
Yeah, see, look, he's a nice guy because I wouldn't call Teddy Bridgewater anything but a very overhyped water boy. But you're the nice one here. I won't insult Teddy too much longer. But let's get back to the Tampa Bay game. Let's
do it.
Number one, let me ask you straight out since I got you and I have the time. Do you like night games, like Sunday night games?
Some, it makes the whole experience a lot more fun at times. I think you have your team on national television as long as they play well. I think that goes really well for you. In this scenario, man, coming off this last game, it's going to be interesting because you look at it right now. They have the next 3 games. They have Tampa Bay on Sunday night. They have the Raiders. It's a Monday night game, right?
Yeah.
And then they play the Bills on a short week. It's not a Thursday night, but it is a short week the next Sunday afternoon. Yeah. So their next 3 games are going to be pretty tough. Now, the Raiders game obviously isn't going to be that tough, but you're going to have back-to-back games that are going to be on prime time, and you would hope that a win in Tampa would get them back on track to not overlook a Raiders team who I think is going to be pissed off at that point because it doesn't look like the Raiders season is going to be going anywhere like what they expected it to.
They had Carr for a quarterback. What are they? I don't understand Mark Davis's I have a Mo Sislak haircut from the Three Stooges haircut having asked. I don't understand how he thinks Carr was the reason they were going to add Devontae Adams and everything will be better. Like, what in their mind did they think that was enough? That's not even near enough. Like, you need the quarterback. We are if anybody wants to know, we are the prime example of that. How many quarterbacks did we go through in the early 2000s to get to this point?
Dude, I do not even want to go try to count that because that would just make me sad.
That's big list.
But I will say this: Derek Carr is better than a lot of people give him credit for, and I think he's better than you're giving him credit for. And I just want to say that I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I think he could be top 15 easy, and I think that if he plays well and he isn't the guy that we've seen so far this year, I think last year he was playing really well and had the ability to be a guy that would possibly be a top 10 QB. But he's not playing that like that this year. He's trying to utilize his new favorite weapon too much. Hunter Renfrow isn't looking near what they were expecting. Darren Waller isn't playing well. It's an offense that right now is struggling, and you have to wonder what that really means because Josh McDaniels is supposed to be an offensive guru. So, how's that going to work out for you? And the Raiders have never had a great defense, so
no,
that's a problem too.
So I got to know, man, because like I said, this is that kind of stuff we talk about this stuff. What makes you say what is Carr missing that doesn't turn him into that top 15 guy that you're talking about?
This season, I'm not sure what he's missing. I haven't been able to watch enough of his games, but I will say that from the clips I've seen, he looks like he's looking down Devontae Adams a little too much. He is staring down on that wide receiver and not really trying to move the ball around. And then the other guys that you thought were going to be big pieces, like my big thing with the Raiders is, okay, they have Devontae Adams now. Well, they had Darren Waller and they had Hunter Renfrow last year, and their offense was pretty good last year. Yeah. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good. They have all those guys back for the most part, and they add Devontae Adams. Their offense should be stellar this season, and it's just not there yet. And I need to be careful how I say this. I don't want to compare Devontae Adams to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but in a lot of ways, you can look at it as almost the same thing. I'm not saying Patrick is looking at MVS too much, but they're not on the same page either. Carr and Adams still are not on the same page. Everybody thought that they'd be great because they went to college together. It takes time to build chemistry, and they're just not there yet.
Yeah. Because people try to say that, and it makes it make sense. And on paper, it does make like a saying, hey, you guys went to the same college. It's great. But then Burrow and Chase went to the same college together, and they seem to be a little off this season too. So
right. Well, but Burrow and Chase were in college a lot less years ago. I mean, Carr and Adams have been separated for so long. But the other thing is, what made Aaron Rodgers great was he was able to put the ball where Devontae Adams could go get it. Yeah. Carr doesn't have that same arm talent. He never has. He never will. And he's not going to be able to thread the needle to a guy that's double covered on almost every down.
Yeah.
So Devontae Adams has got to make sure he's getting open. And maybe he's getting open more than I would expect. But Carr can't make the throws that Aaron Rodgers can. There's nobody else in the NFL that can make those throws other than maybe a Patrick Mahomes, maybe a Josh Allen, maybe a Justin Herbert. Those are your guys that can really thread that ball in double coverage and really trust that it will get there. So it's going to be tough for Derek Carr to get there. I think he has the talent around him to be successful. The question I have is, what is going on in the background that we don't know offensively? Because Josh McDaniels looked like he should be going in there and helping this Raiders organization. To me, they've taken a huge step back, which doesn't shock me based on how it went in Denver before, but it is questionable this early on.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Lego. I'll take Carr over Winston or Herbert, and it's not because he hurt. I'll take Ryan over Carr.
I would not take Carr over Herbert.
No, never.
That's crazy. I'm sorry, that's crazy. I don't know who said that, but that is crazy.
I'm not a big fan of any of those quarterbacks, but if I had to pick any one of those, Herbert would probably be the one I would go for more than any of them. Ego, my dude, you have your opinion, and I respect your opinion, bro. But nah, man, you got to go with Herbert every time. I don't know what that was about. That's a crazy one, but I appreciate your opinion, brother. But woo, nah, man, I couldn't do it. Herbert he's just too consistent. That's what made me worried about the Chargers game anyway. And now we got to deal with Tampa Bay and with him. The one that won't quit, the one that keeps going. Well, he's done this season. Obviously, we know this is his last season. Is he trying to go for glory, or is he just his last one?
Is it his last season? I mean, I know.
Yeah, because remember earlier in the season, they announced he was going to be a part of the Fox Sports commentating crew. The
Well, right,
earlier
but
before the
when they
season
said
started.
right, but they said that whenever his playing career is over. So I don't
Uh,
know that this is. I don't know that this is his last season. I think that it should have been his last season last year, at least with the
maybe.
way the season has started, because it doesn't look like it's going to go very well for him. But the other side of that coin is he hasn't had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the field at the same time. He doesn't have the offensive line he used to. He's what is he 45? I can't remember if he's 45 or 46.
40s.
He's not the type of quarterback that could ever move around in the pocket like a guy like you remember back in the day, Randall Cunningham, even when he was old, was all over the place and moving around and had the ability to get out of the rush's way. That's not Tom Brady. He stays in the pocket, and yes, he can move around a little bit, but he's not a guy that's ever used his legs much, and that's going to hurt him in this scenario when you're going against a team like Kansas City or like anybody that can put interior pressure one and just get pressure in general. If you have that ability to get pressure, you're going to have a harder time throwing and making plays in this game. And again, you go back and look at his wide receiver core, which has been decimated. Rashad Perriman, I don't know if he's going to play. The only healthy wide receiver that I know that they had was Mike Evans and Scotty Miller. The rest of them were all either questionable, doubtful, or out.
Okay. You're right. You're definitely right, man. What I want to see is when I'm doing anything, because everybody knows, I love defense, man. I really want our defense to kick some asses this time. Because I mean, Chris
You
Jones,
and Ryan, I swear, I end up having to talk to the two people that love defense. That's cool.
Defense is best, man. They win championships. Damn it!
Okay.
Look, but look, this would be the time because we need to I just need to see more defensive murder because the defensive line is okay, especially like when Colin Saunders goes out there because that's my boy right there.
Is that your boy?
Yes, hell yes. That's right, Chad. I love Colin Saunders.
You and Ryan both love yourself some Colin Saunders. He played well. He's played well when he came in, so he's produced, and I appreciate what he's been able to bring on the field. It'll be interesting to see if he can stay. I hope that he can stay healthy the rest of the season because Kansas City could really use somebody to step up next to Jones.
Yeah, I just need to see. I need to see the backfield. What's up now, Hunter? I would love to see the backfield. McDuffie's still not playing, right?
He's out at least 2 more weeks.
God dang.
His first game back could be the Buffalo game which does not feel great to me. But
no, that's not a way to come. But you don't want to come back from injury, get thrown into a Lions den. But I guess.
But the question would be is, okay, so if McDuffie doesn't come back that week, you're going to be out there with Rashad Fenton and Jalen Watson on top of, Snead's great, but he's only one CB. Yeah. You need McDuffie back.
Juan has been man this year. He's been good.
Well, no, Juan's been playing well, but he's a safety. He's not a corner. So
yeah. I know, because you're right. Because I'm trying to sit here and think about our corner lineup. I mean, there's nobody that's really sticking out right now. I mean, but the season's still early.
Well, I think Snead has played well. I think that Fenton has played well for the most part. He had a really tough game against Mike Williams, but Mike Williams is a guy, and honestly, that's another guy. You start looking at this matchup. Mike Williams' matchup against Kansas City is something that if I'm Tampa Bay, I'm trying to replicate because Mike Williams and Mike Evans, while I'm not saying that their playing styles are exactly the same,
they're pretty dang similar.
Exactly. They're similar and they have the same build. So if you're looking at what they did to get Mike Williams going against the Chiefs earlier in the Chargers game, maybe they start doing some of that stuff with the Bucs and trying to attack them with that tall, lanky wide receiver that can go up and get the ball and cause issues.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure because they still have Fournette, right? The Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and they're running him into the ground. I mean, they are running at a pace that is very surprising. If they continue, Fournette will not be running in a couple of years. But they're not worried about that. They're trying to win games, and they're trying to to get the ball moving because they don't have the wide receiver core to do it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that you brought up about the whole Mike Williams, Mike Evans thing. Are they going to replicate that? Because maybe we're both wrong and the field conditions are dope. And let's say, it's game time defense. Obviously, everybody watches tape. Our backfield game has a little work. Our zone game is terrible, and they could get up the interior with the run game. Which attack do you think that they're going to go for more often than not? Like, are they going to try to kill us? What are they going for?
If I'm Tampa Bay, I'm trying to attack with Mike Evans until they shut it down, because you saw what Williams did to this secondary and did to the Chiefs offense in the first half.
Yeah.
And even sometimes in the second half. Now, Spagnuolo changed up the D a little bit and was able to adjust and make adjustments and not necessarily take Mike Williams away, but make adjustments to where he wasn't near as open as he was, or he wasn't single covered, which made Herbert go a different direction. I think you can do that with Evans as well, but unless Tampa Bay is going to come out and try to obviously feed him the ball from the start of the game, I don't think that that's the way Kansas City is going to try to attack that offensively or that defensively. The big question is who's going to be available. And not only who's going to be available, but even if Chris Godwin is available, is he 100%? Or is he, even 85% of what he was last year? He's coming off a bad injury. If he's not going to be the guy that he was last year, maybe you're better off double covering Mike Evans from the start and letting him try to get the ball to Godwin and having maybe a guy like LJ Snead on Godwin at all times.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Obviously, we got to keep Brady contained. We need to attack. We need to get that defensive line just need to do the work, man. But our linebacking core.
I will say this: the other thing I did like against the Colts and I've seen so far this season is they've been sending people from different places. Spagnuolo's been pretty aggressive at times, and I've liked that. So, can they do that in this game? And this is something I talked about in Locked On Chiefs. Chris Jones is going to create havoc in the A gaps or wherever he ends up lining up. But can they create havoc in the A gaps? Can they send a blitzer in through the middle at the same time that they're trying to do everything else? If they do that, I think that's going to cause Brady some issues, and I think that could open things up for the defense and maybe get the ball back in Mahomes' hands.
Yeah, because that's what we need right now. Mahomes needs the confidence, because what happened last week, that took him off his game. It did. I 100% believe that, dude. I think this is that game. Beating a good team like Tampa Bay can get us back in that groove and feeling like we were when we playing the Cardinals week 1. Because God damn it, that Colts game was really just wrong on all fronts. And since you said that the knife in the heart, you said that Buckner is not going to be here for this game. What are we doing for this? Is Reed getting back to work? Because I don't mind if he does. But
no, they elevated Matt Wright, so he's going to be the kicker for this game. The big issue,
this guy?
The guy that they signed to the practice squad this week, and I know a lot of Chiefs fans aren't going to like this. He's got the same number that Amendola had, so enjoy. But what I will say is I think that you're in a situation where the team has to believe in the kicker, and they obviously lost that last week in Amendola. And honestly, special teams cost Kansas City at least 13 points, maybe.
Yeah.
I just
3 points.
Missing 3 points, the fake field goal.
Yeah, the fake field goal, because we couldn't depend on him to kick that. He couldn't kick from 35. Why would he kick from 40 something?
But but also don't forget about the botched catch by Sky Moore basically gave him 7 points. So I mean, easily 13 points. And I said this on Locked On Chiefs too. If you're Kansas City, you have to feel like you're going to win any game where you hold a team to 20 points. Yeah. You don't think your defense is ever going to – you don't think your offense is ever going to score less than 25, 26, 27 points, which is about league average.
Right.
And they couldn't do anything last week. They left a lot of plays on the field, and that you just can't do that when you are doing everything else. You can leave plays on the field if you're playing good football on special teams and defense, Unfortunately, special teams gave up 13 or 14 points, whichever way you want to look at it. And at that point, you can't. Oh, actually, I think you missed an extra point too. So, I mean, I guess you could say it was 14 points, even though Kansas City got a 2-point conversion later.
You're right.
But you can't play bad in two phases and figure you're going to win a game, even against a team like the Colts.
Yeah. Even how great. And that's what's been saying. That's what I've been saying about why I want the defense to kick ass so bad, because they did a great job against the Chargers. Clearly, Herbert will always remember that blitz. And the Colts, regardless of what they did, defense did do the work. They did what they were supposed to.
The defense did their job.
Exactly.
They absolutely did
any
their job.
team, like you said, any teams that hold the 20 points or under, technically you should have already won the game by then.
Like, yeah, and to be quite fair, Kansas City spotted them 7 points on that on that botch snap. So really they only allowed 13 points. Huh?
People went off on Sky Moore about that, but he's a rookie. What do you expect, man? There's a lot of bright lights. I mean,
yeah, and
I'm not mad. I wasn't too upset about. I was upset, obviously, but I mean, heck, what did you expect him to do? Like you said, special teams have just been. Oh, Dave Tove has never been this sloppy before, and
no,
he's usually the cleanest one on the field. So all over it was surprising.
And that's something that's a little different this year, and I think a lot of that is. You look at the turnover Kansas City had this year, and you lost a guy like Dorian O'Daniel. You lost all these special teams players that were huge to what Kansas City's been doing. And yes, they don't play offense. Yes, they don't play defense, or maybe they play sparingly in those situations. Ben Neiman's another guy, and I know he played on defense and it pissed a lot of people off, but he was a great special teams player. You lose a lot of good special teams players, you're going to have time. You're going to have to try to figure out how to get it to work going forward. And that's going to take time, one. And two, you're in a situation where you're replacing them with guys that you hope can do the job, but you don't know can do the job. And that's a problem.
That is a problem. I 100% believe that's a problem. I think, what did you think are the goals to get this game going? What are the main keys that we need to get to this game, man? What?
I think Mahomes. I think Mahomes needs to be sacked less than 3 times, and I think he needs to have the ball. I think he needs to have at least 1 or 2 completions to 7 or 8 different guys. And I say that because you look at what he did in Arizona, and he spread the ball all over the place. If he does that against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're not going to know where the ball's going, and it's going to open other things up. So for me, offensively, I think that they need to get the ball spread around, and it needs to go to, Forza needs a couple of catches, Gray needs a couple of catches. And I say those two specifically because Travis Kelce doesn't need to be playing 90% of the snaps. He needs to be playing closer to 70 to 75. And I know people are going to say he's your best player, you need him on the field. Sorry, not at his age. You do not want to wear him out, and you do not want him to get injured because he's playing 90+% of the snaps. So give Gray some time, give Fortson some time. Use Clyde out of the backfield as a pass catcher. Use Pacheco, use McKinnon, use all those guys. I don't think he's going to be up for this game because he hasn't been active the first 3. But Ronald Jones going against his old team would be interesting to see. But they would have to have somebody else down, and I just don't see that happening in this game. Defensively, it's get pressure in the middle in Tom Brady's face. If you can get pressure and hit Brady on a regular basis, like at least give pressure and hit him, 2 or 3 times on every every time he holds on to the ball, hit him 2 or 3 times for every drive that they have. And I'm not saying it has to be like a dirty hit. I'm just saying hit him, get there, get home with the pressure in some sort and get him off his mark. I think you're going to be in great shape.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I won't say this is game of the week type of a thing because, like you said, you brought up some really good points. Their offense isn't there. Their defense isn't quite what it was either. So I totally agree with you, man. I think those are some good ideas. I just hope, like you said, that Mahomes just passes the ball over. Honestly, I would like Reed to not be so readish and run the ball a little bit more. We need to establish a running back. You know what I'm saying? Finally, a guy, because they want it to be Hilaire, but it's not Hilaire. I like McKinney, but he's just, you know, he's in the middle of the pack like with the others. You know?
I get what you want. The problem is you have Vita Vea you're going against. This is not a good game to get in my opinion, this is not going to be a great game to get your running game going because Vita Vea is that type of beast in the middle.
Hell, I forgot about him.
Yeah. So, no, I get it, dude. I understand why you want to establish the run. Maybe we can do that next week against the Raiders. Can you run the ball in this game? Yeah, I think you can. I just don't know that you're going to be able to do it like Kansas City really wants to, and I think they want to be able to run between the tackles, but I don't know that you're going to be able to do it against this Bucs front.
God dang! Then you brought up Vita Vea, and that could be going like, oh man, Orlando Brown is going to be one of the key reasons we either win or lose this game.
Yep.
You keep bringing up all these defensive linemen in Tampa Bay, and I keep like memory wiping, forgetting that they play there. And now you see that defensive line, I'm thinking like, oh boy, that offensive line's got some work on it tomorrow.
Yeah,
night.
They have a lot of work to do, and it's going to be
like
interesting
a whole
to see.
Lot of work.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you a few last little questions, my dear. Number one, what is the score? Give me the score right now. I'm
still going 27-20. It's been my prediction all week. I'm still sticking to it. I think that Kansas City is going to win 27-20. I think that their offense is going to find rhythm enough that I think that they're going to put up points. So I'm going 27-20.
Me, I'm going to give you the real score, Chris. The real score, okay?
Let's hear it.
30-15.
Oh, okay.
Y'all heard that, chat, right? 30-15. Saying it right now. It's going to happen. Okay, right now.
Just to be clear, 30 Chiefs 30, Bucs 15, right?
Yes. We getting the 30, they getting the 15. Mahomes is scoring 4 touchdowns. We're gonna get a pick 6 because Brady's gonna not be paying attention because he's been throwing a whole bunch of those this season. Those almost ones that they like to talk about. Mahomes is almost throwing. Brady's been throwing those too. I feel a pick 6 coming. I feel it. I feel it. It's around the corner. I can smell it. I can smell it, man.
I'd love to see it. I would love to see it.
I know it's going to happen. I know it is. 100%. Well, man, Chris, thank you so much, man, for coming out here. I hope you come back again, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. I enjoyed being here.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is him, the one and only Chris Clark from the wonderful show that we all watch every Monday, Wednesday, every day, basically, because Locked On Chiefs. If you know Ryan, you know him. Like, there, look, hand, I did it again. There he is, right there, ladies and gentlemen. He is the one, the only Chris Clark from Locked On Chiefs. Please watch the podcast. You are audio. I don't even know why I'm telling y'all to watch it. Y'all probably watch it. You've probably been watching it more than you watch me. So I thank you so much for having the time and spending down with me and hanging out with me. I hope you come back again. This has been such an elite thing. And everybody in the chat, remember, hit the like and subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe button. Trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the season. Help me out here. We're almost there. 712 as of right now. Let's go. I appreciate y'all, everybody. Thank you so much, Chris. You are a gem, my friend.
Appreciate it, buddy. It's been a lot of fun, and I would love to come back.
Thank you. Yes, y'all heard it. I got him. Locked him down. He can't lie to me now. He said it. He's coming back. Thank you so much, though, Chris. This is your boy, Big Chief Sean, saying thank you for everyone watching the chat. Please be here next Saturday. We're going to try to have somebody come here. I don't know who it is yet. I'm not going to tell you because, you know, that's how I am. I like to leave you a mystery. Y'all get out of here and enjoy your Saturday night, all right? Peace. Yeah.